So it's the second episode of the 20s in my 20s vlog. As per usual, it's been, I want to say weeks, but probably months since I recorded the previous video. We'll get into the reasons about why that is here in a minute, but I have felt interested in learning Blender lately, so recording a video seemed like a good, practical way to get into Blender. So anyway, since the last video, a lot's happened, but not a lot's changed. I'm in my last semester of college here at Texas State University. I thought it would be a pretty easy, pretty chill semester. It has been, but it's also been kind of busy. It's weird, I have a lot of free time, but things are spread out in such a way that it feels like I never get to fully recover between different things I have going on. But just a few more weeks of it should be all right. As usual, I'm procrastinating a lot more than I should, so I constantly feel anxious about not doing well. Nonetheless, I'm still doing really well, on paper at least. Or in terms of my grades, I'm doing well. Emotionally, maybe I'm a little stressed out and what have you, but I don't have to worry about how I'm performing in school necessarily. I am graduating here in a few weeks in December, and so for a minute there I was wondering man, what am I gonna do when I get done with school for the first time in my life? I have there's no clear or obvious next step. It's just kind of get out there, I guess. So that's part of what got me to start this video vlog, is because I've always wanted to go live in another country in general, but for whatever reason, specifically South America or some Hispanic culture, Spanish speaking place, just for a few years, just to I don't know, kind of come of age or something. So I played with the idea of immediately moving after I graduate to another country, and then teaching English once I got wherever I was going, and then doing a coding boot camp once I kind of got settled into that situation. But I figured if I'm gonna go to a coding boot camp anyway and spend all that time and money, why also get a TEFL, an English teaching certificate on top of that? So why not just go ahead and get it done? Maybe it'll keep me in the States another 6 months to a year or so, maybe a little more if I find a good job and I want to save the money. But yeah, it just made more sense just if the ultimate goal is to get into tech, then just go and head and straight go straight into that. Because you can get remote work pretty easy, especially now in the post-pandemic era. Although it sounds a lot of companies are trying to pull workers back into the office, but I don't know, I feel things are the current, if you will, is moving towards remote work. Anyway, so long story short, I signed up for a data science boot camp. I debated a lot between software engineering and data science, but in the end, data science just seemed not the most glamorous or coolest or funnest, but the most useful to do the things that I want to do. So immediately after I graduate, literally 2 days after I graduate, Texas State, I'm beginning this data science program at Flatiron School. I've already done most of the pre-work. I'm in the last module of it. Pretty solid with Python to begin with, so the pre-work has been pretty chill, honestly. There's only been like a couple things that have like really given me trouble, and those things were like really less about like writing Python code and more of like understanding kind of tech or like programming ideas like in general. The actual like syntax of the code was like not really like the problem, which, like I said, it was like one or two like big problems, and they were like, you know, supposed to be like taking everything they teach us in this pre-work and like putting it all into like one big thing. Like we parsed like some what was it? It was like a sheet of like biometric data on people. So you have like their height, their age, their weight, their like different dimensions and things. And we had to take like a specific one of those like columns, right, or like categories of like information, and parse it into like an NumPy array. Like understanding like the sort of, I don't want to say algorithm because it's not an algorithm, but like algorithm or like logic of how to take like, you know, this set of data and like move it in this way into this set of data wasn't the issue. The issue for me really was like how to read this like CSV file. And that had a lot more to do with like understanding like really the things outside of Python, like, you know, like the nature of and like, or structure rather, of like a CSV file than it did with like my ability to like write Python code. So that was cool. That I feel like I'm already kind of like ahead in a way. It's not going to be the actual like learning the code that's going to be the problem. It's going to be more of like getting clever with how I, you know, approach problems to solve and like that sort of thing. So that boot camp will probably run me through. It'll take me to around like May of 2022, my upcoming birthday. So that's kind of my goal with that. I'm on a flex schedule, so there's really like some flexibility there, but I would like to finish it 2 days or so before my birthday of next year. And then from there, I have like a while to actually look for a job. So what I'm basically hoping for or counting on at this point is that I'll get a remote position, like a full-time remote job, right out of the boot camp. And that'll enable me to move or go wherever I want, really. Which will probably be Puerto Rico or Argentina. Argentina is kind of like the one that I always like keep like looking at, but like other places, like I'll go through phases where like certain things like make more sense for whatever reason. Like Puerto Rico is a little bit easier to start out with, maybe because it's still technically part of the U.S. So actually like immigrating there and all that, there's still going to be some complications with it because you are like sort of moving to another country, but like a lot of things about it will also be easier, especially like bringing like a dog with me, because it's also still the U.S. So there's that. Really, the Yucatan would be cool because I want to learn how to sail. That's like been my big new thing lately. Is I want to learn how to sail. I want to get like a boat, and I want to live on the sailboat, so I can just like sail over here, hang out there for like 6 months, sail over there, hang out there for 8 months or 3 months here, 10 months there, like, you know, whatever. I feel like since high school, like it's always been like this thing of like the Hispanic world, and like Spanish has like grabbed me, but I don't think it's that to be so specific. It's like language and culture, like as a metaphysical object almost, right? Like that's what's really like interesting to me, and I want to like experience as many different like languages and cultures and things as possible. So I mean, I guess I could fly everywhere and stuff, but like a sailboat just seems like the most sustainable way to do that, and maybe even like more fun. I'm not sure exactly when I'll make the sailboat thing happen, because there's also like rugby to consider. Like it's kind of hard to be on like, you know, involved in a rugby program and make a lot of progress like with the team or like individually if you're like moving around a lot, right? So yeah, you know, hopefully I can like find some like island nations in like the Caribbean or like the South Pacific somewhere, and that I can like, you know, like live somewhere where like the water's like really kind of like a part of the infrastructure and like the culture and like stuff. And like rugby's like a big deal too. But yeah. So yeah, lately I've like felt kind of, what's the word? I don't want to say not myself, because like I recognize this feeling, like I go through like periods like this, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's not like, not to be like corny or nothing, but like my true self, or like what like I really feel like. I've just been kind of like lazy and grumpy and like tired all the time, and like just not really like fired up. You know, normally like I feel pretty like fired up about like something, whether it's rugby or like a new thing I'm learning or like whatever. And I haven't really had that lately. And I've been feeling kind of, I feel like most of my life I've never really been that religious, but I've always been really like kind of in tune with or open to like spiritual or metaphysical things like happening around me, right? Or trying to like interact with that somehow, like at least like hoping that stuff's even like real. And lately I've just been really feeling really kind of like spiritually like void as well. Like I'm just like, it's not like, not that I like feel atheistic, but that I feel like there's like, if I'm a radio, like I'm not tuned into the right like station, so it's just like static, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, procrastinating a lot of things, not cleaning up like the way I need to be. I'm just not like that, not like taking care of like the little things like I need to. And I don't know, I feel like this happens like every time like a semester starts. Like during the break I'll get like super refreshed, I'm like hyped on shit, and then that kind of carries some momentum in the semester, but eventually I just kind of like fizzle out, where like school just like has me feeling like some kind of way. And it's my last semester too, so I also got like a little bit of the senioritis, you know, like on top of that. So it's like, I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of really cool things that are gonna happen for me in the next like 5 years, and I feel some impatience about just like wanting to like get straight to like that highlight reel I have in my head, right? Because I feel like that's just like right there, and I'm stuck. Like I feel like I'm like walking through mud, right? Like just like kind of getting like stuck and like bogged down, spinning my wheels like type deal. So, but the last like week maybe, I've been kind of slowly like getting momentum like back in the proper direction. I think that me actually sitting down recording this video is pretty indicative of that. So yeah, I don't know that I really have like a like point or main theme or whatever for this video, but that's just kind of what's been going on since the last one. Alright, I'm gonna go to rugby practice. Peace.